Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for a learning and growing webinar on mindfulness and meditation, maximizing your mood. Our presenter today is Crystal Newman of American College and Education. My name is Sidra, and I'm your moderator for Hawks Learning. We will have a live Q&A session after the presentation, so please enter any questions you have into the Q&A module as we go, and we'll be sure to answer them at the end. I'll now hand it over to our presenter.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for attending. I'll go ahead and start sharing my screen. All right, it's just a moment here while I get everything set up for y'all. Okay, all right, we're ready. Well, again, thank you for joining my presentation today on mindfulness and meditation, maximizing your mood. I'm Dr. Crystal Newman. I am the Assistant Provost here at American College of Education, which we lovingly call ACE. And these are my objectives for today. So first, I want to describe the concept of mindfulness. I want to identify its benefits, share some strategies for practicing mindfulness. We'll get to experience a mini session today, as well as discuss more about ACE's virtual mindfulness group, including some of our activities and the benefits that we have with it. So first, let me tell you a little bit about ACE. So ACE is 100% online. So we have various programs ranging from business programs to health and wellness, nursing, as well as education. So since we are 100% online, that means that we are 100% remote as well. And we are also a certified benefit corporation, which means that we have a serious commitment to doing good. And as highlighted and bolded, we do this to better serve our students, our alumni, employees, and communities. So we do a lot of community service, we do a lot of volunteering, and that's what makes me proud of this institution. To tell you a little bit more about myself, in addition to being the Assistant Provost for Business Professions here at the college, I'm also a certified hypnotherapist. I'm also a certified yoga instructor, which, in thinking about my passions, it only makes sense for me to really try to practice what I preach. And this is my commitment to promoting mindfulness practices at the college. And hopefully some of these tips can help you in your school, in your university, and wherever you are in your everyday life. So let's talk about mindfulness. So is your mind full, or are you being mindful? Okay, so to kind of really explain this, there are two different pictures in these thought bubbles. So if your mind is full, you've got your to-do list, you're thinking about a variety of things. So I know for myself, I play multiple roles in my life. So not only do I work for the college, but I'm also a mother, I'm also a daughter, I'm a neighbor. I might have to make sure that my kids get to the extracurricular activities, or my neighbor asked me for something and I need to make sure that I go do that. I have groceries and, just that's very human of us. So I know I have all my roles. I'm pretty sure you have all your roles as well. So that's your mind being full, thinking about all those things. But are you mindful? So being mindful, is the picture on the right, where the thought bubble is being in the now, being in the present, and having more clarity with your thoughts, because you're only looking at what's in front of you rather than thinking about the what ifs. I have to do this, I have to do that. So are there benefits to mindfulness? Absolutely. And I tried to list as many as I could over here on this screen. So we have increased health, longevity, creativity, and productivity, as well as attention. So when your mind is full and you're thinking about all of these tasks that you still have to do, your mind isn't in one place. You might not be as productive, because while you're supposed to be working on this one project or teaching this one thing, you know that your mind is in a different place. You have better enjoyment of these tasks because they're right here in front of you, and you have a more positive mood. You have improved perspective taking, and a positive perception by others. Because if you're in the here and now, others are seeing that you are actually present and that you're not nervous and anxious about other things, thinking about what you still have to do, trying to cross off everything on your list. You have better learning and memory because you are focusing on exactly what's in front of you. So for example, have you ever tried studying for a test when you're thinking about all the things that you still have to do next week? That simply doesn't work. You have better quality of products and quality of life because, again, you're focusing on what's in front of you. You have improved in communication too, because if I'm here and I'm with you and we're having a discussion, I'm not thinking about what other people need from me. I'm looking at what you need and hearing about what your needs are. And we have a better communication because of that. There are decreases in things as well. So one, stress, because you're not thinking about all the other things on your to-do list. The decreased adverse health symptoms, decreased misunderstanding and conflicts, which really goes in line with the communication because you have my full attention. You know, so if I'm really paying 100% attention to you, I'm not, you know, kind of wandering off into space, and I know exactly what you need. There's decreased errors in work, burnouts. And one thing I really want to point out here is the decreased anxiety and depression. And I want to point out the anxiety piece because there was a study that came out that the teens of today are experiencing the same level of anxiety as those who were institutionalized in the 1950s. So I think about that a lot because I have teens in my household. I have teens as my neighbors. So I try to be mindful of what's going on in their lives and trying to support their needs. And if we imagine what's going on in our teen lives, imagine what's going on in our own adult lives too. So we have to be mindful of each other and what we're feeling and all of the anxieties and pressures that we have in our lives. So is there a cost of mindfulness? Yes, there is. But what does it cost? So it's really about time spent with it and your energy that you're putting into it. But is it worth the investment? 100% it is. What we like to say here at ACE is that mindful leaders view mistakes or failures as building blocks to innovation, reframing how we work, collaborate, and create. Awareness in our daily work processes results in improved products and increased perception of being confident and genuine. So how do we go about meditating and having our mindfulness practices? So meditation is just the one way. So we meditate and meet. So we meet synchronously 3 times a week. So we'll meet on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for a period of 15 minutes each. And if you can't make that Friday session, you know, you can wait until Monday. So hopefully you can make all the sessions. And if not, that is more than fine. You don't get kicked out of the meditation club or anything like that. You just attend when you're able to and when you most need it to. So we'll share with each other some of our favorite meditation practices. Could be from YouTube, could be from the Headspace, Calm app, Gaia, or since I am a certified hypnotherapist, sometimes I'll go ahead and create recordings or just lead the meditation and go from there. And it really will depend. So for example, we might focus on stress. If we're having enrollment time and we're answering all these calls and we know that our colleagues are doing just that, we'll focus on stress relief. Or, you know, if we're just having a movement challenge, which I'll discuss in just a moment, we'll talk about goal setting, for example, or we'll do body scans as well, which I'll also talk about in just a moment. So now what I want to do next is have us experience a very small sample. So like I said, we meet for about 15 minutes. And in this sample, I'll have 5 minutes of a meditation. So what I wanted to do, so at ACE, we had a retreat where we went and we volunteered as we do for a benefit as a benefit corporation. And this is a picture of us all together just laughing. And I wanted to recreate that moment when we did all come together and just do something fun and we were all smiling. And I created a meditation on making time for laughter. So I will go ahead and turn off my webcam momentarily because I just kind of want to create that simulation of what it's like to create this meditation practice. And we turn off our webcams while we're meditating because we don't want to distract others. For example, maybe someone might be walking around and that's going to be distracting. So we really want to be here in the present moment. So I will go ahead and turn off my webcam and start really mini version of a meditation practice that we have here at ACE.
This is a meditation on finding time to laugh. Sometimes we get so busy in life that we often forget to make time to smile and chuckle. If you are too busy to laugh, you are too busy. Let's find time to enjoy ourselves. At times, I have taken myself and my world too seriously, and at other times, I burst forth with laughter and joy. How special are the times when I simply let go and roar a hearty laugh. What a great release and expression. Sometimes I have laughed so much that my sides seem to split, and this causes more laughter. And I just let my body laugh even more when this happens. I feel better after a good laugh. Laughter is good for my body. It is like an internal massage. Today, I express a little lightness, a bit of levity, a smile, a cheerful word, a hope, a song of joy, and this becomes a pleasurable habit, a positive way of life. My eyes and my mouth express my humor, and my face radiates with joy. But my face merely reflects what is already within my mind and my heart. Humor and joy begin within and express outward. I look for the fun, the silly, and even the ridiculous. A smile is said to be one of life's greatest assets. It can work miracles by transforming me, by relieving tensions, strengthening bonds, and brightening my outlook. I am forming a positive habit of smiling often and smiling with delight. Smiling costs little and pays well. Smiling expresses humor, grows into laughter, blossoms into joy. Joy is my expression of appreciation and thankfulness. My joy is alive with profound creative force. In my creative imagination, I am picturing how positively the world responds to my smile and my warm humor. I am visualizing how good I look and feel when I smile and laugh. My laughter is a positive symbol of my happiness. Joy is an emblem of my life. Laughter builds love, and humor affirms my humanity. The picture of this, already accomplished, is very clear, and therefore, I must always find time to laugh.
Okay, so again, that is a really quick mini meditation under 5 minutes. And hopefully just in sitting, listening to that, you were able to calm down a little bit and just remind yourselves of just making time for laughing. Okay, so that was, oh, and going on to the next slide. Oh, okay, we got that settled. So what are the benefits of the meditation group? And these were things that were all brought to my attention from participants in the group. So the first one was learn how to meditate. So I hear it time again where folks will tell me, Crystal, I just can't meditate. Every time I try to start, something else goes into my mind on what I'm supposed to do or what I have to do tomorrow. And my mind just starts to wander and I start thinking about things. And what I hear is once they practice and they do it more and more and more, they're learning to calm their minds. So that is the next thing, is calming the mind. They're learning how to meditate. And doing so, it also decreases their work-related stress. And for the participants, we stopped checking emails, we stopped teaching, or we stopped doing whatever we needed to be doing for about 15 minutes. And 15 minutes really helps. I feel like even the 5 minutes helps a lot. And I also received some comments that it helped them practice their work-life balance. So what else do we do other than meditate together? We have some wellness practices. So one would be like a drink water challenge. So we need to stay hydrated. And I know that that's something that we hear time and again, are you drinking enough water? So we'll have like friendly competitions and making sure and checking in with one another that we are drinking enough water. And one thing that I do like to reiterate for folks and to practice with our body scans is have your glass of water ready. And instead of just drinking it without thinking, if you can take a moment to think about things or concentrate on what's in front of you and in the moment and in the now, is just really think about and be here in the present moments as your lips touch the glass of water, the mug or cup, and feel the transition of the water. Even if it's cold water or warm water, feel the transition from your mouth to your body and how this feels. So concentrate on your body and you get to really learn or relearn essentially how that feels. We have group circles in our wellness groups too. So in the group circles, we get together about once a week. And again, it's offered a couple different times a week, just depending on when you're able to meet. And we talk about different things, ranging from holiday eating and giving each other tips about that, to exercise, to talking about what else do you do for mindfulness practices. Moving along into movement, because movement is important. We have a few different free apps that we download and have as friendly competitions from time to time. So the first is the Charity Miles app, in which based on the number of miles that you're walking, it not only tracks how far you're walking, but a percentage of money does go towards a charity of your choice. We have the Move Spring app, where we have challenges against each other in terms of distance. How far can you walk, or how far do you move in a given couple weeks or a month? Or if it's not about walking, it could be just minutes of movements. So whether it's yoga, Tai Chi, gardening, how many minutes are you moving? And finally, we do have chair yoga recordings from our own Dr. Tiffany Hamlet, who is also a certified yoga instructor. And she has some, we are sitting, we're remote, and, it's about movements. So we'll have those recordings on there too. We'll also meet over some shared interests. So we have a book club that meets on a quarterly basis, in which we're performing more reflective practices about our leadership. There's other groups that meet on depending on their own shared interests. So for example, it's not always work related per se. So outside of work hours, we'll discuss other fun books. So one book club I'm part of is called the Diva Den, where we like to read literature by women. And finally, social impact is another shared interest we'll meet about monthly. And for example, one is an environmental group where we try to practice virtual stewardship and share tips amongst each other. So a lot of things that we try to do. And some other mindfulness practices include deep breathing, focusing on the present, having intentional awareness, meditation, which is one of the ones that we kind of practiced, yoga and even chair yoga, walking. But it's important to remember that there's not a one size fits all. So for example, those who might be in the 3 times a week meditation practice, they might not be participating in the walking challenges, or those who are doing the walking challenges may not be in the meditation either. So you have to do whatever works for you. And you might have some other fun ideas on what you enjoy doing. So for example, in one of the group circles, we talked about just that. And we kind of continued to bring that up as an idea of, okay, what else did you try this week? Or what else have you tried that we didn't talk about before? Examples could be, coloring books, gardening, just literally sitting outside on your front porch or in your backyard, spending time with your pets. I've heard some very interesting ideas. So one of them was falconry. And I was like, wow, I have not even thought of that before, but it was something that really brought that person into the now and in the present moment. And what I love about these social groups and the group circles is that you do really get to learn a whole lot more about your colleagues than if you would if you're just in a meeting or in a department meeting and things of that nature. Another really fun one that just popped into my head was that someone shared that what they'll do to get into their mindfulness space was they'll essentially pull up an article on their phone and read it in a different accent. And I thought that was so interesting because they said that what it made them do was they had to declutter everything from their minds. They were just focusing on the article in front of them, focusing on the words. And another benefit was that they really improved, I think it was their British accent. That's what they were practicing. So a lot of fun ideas. Again, there's not just one thing that you have to do, or you can do a variety. It's all up to you and what you really prefer and what you enjoy. So we're going to get into some of these ideas in a little bit more in depth. So one idea is sitting up straight. So that's something with our body scans that we try to do. So as I said, sit up straight, that's exactly what I did. A straight posture promotes optimal oxygen flow to your lungs. And this oxygen, an increased level, provides more energy. So that helps maximize on your mood as well. So what happens when we slouch? Well, our muscles in the chest really tighten, and then it limits how much we're able to expand breath into our rib cage. And of course, then our breathing is a lot more shallow and rapid, versus if we sit up straight, we're able to take in the deeper breaths, calm our minds, and improve our moods. The next idea would be to stand up and stretch. So if you're sitting at your desk all day, this is really helpful and something that it's a great reminder for you to do. So stretching increases your blood flow, which then again increases your oxygen levels. And what does the increased oxygen do? It also increases more energy. The deep breathing, and that's something I pretty much went over. So it allows more oxygen to enter our lungs. And again, more oxygen brings what? More energy. I hope that's kind of reminding you. Drinking water. So again, that's what I kind of went over with our water challenges and making sure we receive our proper hydration. And why is that important? Because it regulates your body temperature, which then thus increases your motivation and your energy. And this energy really does translate well into, maximizing and boosting your mood. And like I said, just if you have a moment to really look at your glass of water and just be mindful, watch your hand reach out. and just feel the transition and how it moves through your body. And this is one of my favorites. So let music feed your soul. So reflect on what really makes you want to get down and boogie, or what makes you feel calm. So for me, I'm kind of a person who goes back to places of nostalgia. So I grew up with music and listening to songs by Selena Quintanilla. I grew up with the Backstreet Boys. I was a huge Backstreet Boy fan, and it just makes me smile when I listen to music. So I recommend that you also create a playlist of upbeat tunes and what makes you feel good, or alternatively, play sounds that are calming to you. So it could consist of waterfalls, white noise, the ocean, the rain, birds chirping. I know there's also sounds of like the fire crackling if it makes you feel kind of nostalgic and feeling good and calm when you're camping. So there's a whole variety out there. So how does this work, or why does it even work? So the upbeat music produces chemicals like dopamine and serotonin, and those chemicals thus invoke joyful feelings. So that's why I feel really good when I'm listening to the Backstreet Boys, and I was super happy when they were on tour this year. Anyhow, I digress. And the calming music also relaxes your body. So when you think of when I feel the rain and I'm outside, it makes me feel happy. But so alternatively, the sounds that I'm listening to either on an app or on a sound machine make me feel calm as well. Another idea is to just get outside, weather permitting, or have a change in scenery. So if you're working remotely, what I recommend is taking your laptop to a new location. So you can go to the front yard or the backyard and just be with nature, but of course, if weather permits, or just change from being in your office or wherever you usually work to the living room, your kitchen, or anywhere else. So how does this work? So working in a new location makes you feel more revitalized and excited about your work, because sometimes you might get into your routine and sometimes you just need to change it up. And that changing things up brings variety to your day. So when I talked about these ideas, these were a lot of ideas that were shared with the groups and amongst the groups in our circles. So why even talk this through, and why create engagement? So students have clubs. I remember this from high school and college. So why can't we as faculty and staff? So doing so promotes community. It increases the socialization and promotes inclusion, and also supports our learning and growing. So again, I learned things about my colleagues that I would not have during a work session. So when I heard about my colleague reading articles in different accents, or colleagues who do falconry, that's something I never even considered or knew about. But alternatively, as a gardener, when I find other fellow gardeners, we share tips or answer the questions of those who are looking to start gardening or start different hobbies. So it's really cool. And what I do want to reiterate is, as I mentioned, that students have clubs. Here at ACE, we also do promote the mindfulness practices with our students as well. So they have their own separate page and section that we call the Wellness Center. And within the Wellness Center, we have Mindfulness Matters, where we'll talk about these very things. And someone from our student services will also host these meditation moments and these meditation sessions too. So we try to have this in various areas and promote interest and promote awareness as well. So how do we go about creating these clubs? I know I brought up a lot of ideas when it came to movement and these friendly challenges with each other. So first, you'll want to identify interests and support the needs, whether it's movements, mindfulness, the social interactions, these book clubs, whatever the need may be. And your school or where you work, you might have different ideas as well, which I've not even brought up or discussed. So then the next step would be to investigate any existing clubs or your social activities, because it could just be a matter of adding to it instead of creating the whole thing. Then you'll select the opportunity to do that. You'll identify your leaders. So whoever wants to run these, because I'm interested in everything, but I know I can't be everywhere. So I'll have to either be a leader or offer support. So what I mean by offer support is, providing them with the technology to do it, or the platform like Zoom to be able to meet with each other, or if you're still working hybrid or in person, then a room to have for these meetings to occur. And then finally, you want to align your priorities with those activities, and determine frequency and who can, and just kind of get that all started. And it's so much fun. So that is the ends of my presentation. And these were my references, because I know I provided a lot of ideas and a lot of kind of science behind why some of these things work. And I'll go ahead and stop sharing my screen so we can get to any questions that you all might have.
If at this time you guys can go ahead and enter your questions into the Q&A module, we will do our best to get them all answered. While we wait for people to populate their questions in the Q&A module, do you have any closing remarks that you would like to share?
Absolutely. So I hope I've given a lot of different ideas on how you can go ahead and promote your mindfulness practices, either in your everyday lives or within your schools. And it is my hope that it does bring some joy to you, either boosting and maximizing on your mood, or just providing some additional calmness to your life.
All right, if we don't have any questions, thank you, Dr. Newman, and thank you all for attending today. If you or any of your fellow instructors are interested in presenting for our Learning and Growing webinar series, please submit your proposals to the Learning and Growing website, which I'm going to go ahead and link in the chat now for easy access. We will be emailing you a link to review the recording of this webinar once it's available, so we can get access to all of those great resources that we shared today. And I hope everyone has a great rest of your day. Thank you so much.